Hello and welcome to another weekly player interview for the Beacon World League. And today I am joined by the one and only Jaakaah. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for inviting me.
So coming into this season, did you have any expectations for sort of positions, divisions that you were aiming for? And have you sort of reached those expectations so far?
Well, I'd say before the season, I was expecting to get Division 2. I wasn't really aiming at Division 1, considering only the 6 slots that were available. So in the end, I got pretty close. Beta Toast was slightly better. I think the Xenogen performance hampered my score a bit. I think I had 2 crashes at the finish, which tanked my score a bit. Otherwise, though, I'm pretty happy. I could have easily crashed 5 more times on Maharaga. So
yeah, it's easily done on that map.
yeah, I think it came down to like 1 or 2 rounds, but
yeah,
in the end, I think I've probably had more fun in Division 2 than I would in getting last place in Division 1.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, leading on from that, you've had a fantastic start to the season in Division 2. How do you feel about your performances so far? I mean, you've won every game.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I was slightly annoyed about was that I was pretty bad at getting the fastest slap point. So against Noisia, I think I gave him 3 points. So in the end, I only won by 1 point, but goes into me being a more consistent driver, I guess. I'm not really a Charles type driver.
Yeah, I was about to say, currently in the league, you are sat in third with Charles and Manta just ahead of you, and that's purely from match record points. I think Manta's also won every game, but Charles has had a second place, but on match records, he is ahead of you. Do you have a different play style to them?
Well, compared to Charles, I guess. I've looked at his matches, and it was a bit scary watching him, drive my PB pretty much in rounds, and then the other half of the rounds he would crash. But
plus 15 seconds.
I'm a bit worried because I think he's gonna be a bit upset after week 2 losing to Banta. So I think he's gonna come in prepared. It's gonna be interesting.
As I said, you are currently unbeaten. Is there anyone that you think could sort of knock you off that streak? Obviously Charles, but is there anyone else that you're coming up against?
Charles and Manta. They're I think the 2 toughest opponents, and I have to face them in the last week. So
as you mentioned, this week you play your 2 main competitors, first Manta and then Charles. How do you think you're going to fare against those?
Well, I don't think there's any secrets when playing against Manta, because we've been practicing rounds pretty much this whole season. So I think we're overall pretty equal. I think it's going to be a very 50-50 match, at least on paper. But I'd say against Charles, I don't favor my chances too much. I think it'll depend more on his performance. I think if he drives like he did in the second half of most of his matches, I don't think I'll be able to beat him. I think an extra handicap is going to be that based on the result of the first match, I might be a couple of points behind Charles, and if I want to get top 2, I might have to get a bunch of match records on top of the win. Okay. Even if I'm ahead in the match, it doesn't really mean much. I'll probably have to hunt PBs in the middle of rounds.
Is there any additional motivation for you when you're coming up against Manta, with you both being Eterna players?
We've been practicing together this whole time, so I think you always want to sort of show that pace that you show in rounds practice, or you don't want to show the crashes that you do in rounds practice. So there's always a bit of rivalry, I guess, but it's all in good fun. We both want each other to qualify to Div 1. So
based on your previous performances so far in the season, is there anything that you're looking to improve upon? I think you mentioned previously that you need to get a couple of match records to potentially overtake Charles. So have you been doing a lot of like time attack training instead of rounds, or?
I don't know if that's the best approach, because I'll have to do the good times in rounds anyway. So I have been adapting some of the new lines. Hopefully I'll do them in the match successfully, like the bug slide line on Arrogate, for example.
Yeah, the inside CP line on, is it Xenogen which has that?
It's on Reshiram. Yeah, I've also been practicing that, but unsuccessfully so far.
At the start of the season, once you realised you were seeded into Div 2, did you have any goals that you set out at that time? Were you just looking to get sort of mid-table, or win it, or just qualify for Div 1 next season?
I think the initial goal was top 2 if I could manage. I mean, I sort of set out to evaluate my performance after each week. So if I had lost to Neuscha, I don't think I would have been very hopeful for the top 2 spots. But I think considering how the matches went, I think I have a small shot. Otherwise, I think I'll be getting top 6. So we'll see if I can qualify through the relegation. Then we'll see.
Okay, so now 3 games into this, have your goals changed now? Is it still looking for top 2, or do you think that you could challenge Manta for the top position?
I think top 2 would be pretty fine, considering the fact that there's Charles in the mix. So if me and Manta can get first and second, that would be insane.
That brings us to the end of the interview, I believe. Thanks very much for joining us, and best of luck in your games of the weekend.
Thank you very much.